We're live.
Well, here we
We're
are. Hey,
live.
guys.
Oh, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Welcome back to the show. I
Yep.
got some ad reads to talk about, but I screwed up today and I messed up my ad read video. So I'm just going to just give you guys a rundown of everything because it probably is a little more personable, anyways, doing it this way. You guys know that ASIO has been a supporter of the show for a good bit now, and they make great clothing, and they give you guys 15% off if you listen to the show with the code ECHO15. And also like these codes, like just so you guys know how this works, they don't really pay me for the codes or anything. It's just to help you guys. I don't really get a kickback from it. I get they support the show by giving me some money every year, but the codes are just for you. So use that code. It saves you some money. And Joe and those guys over at Aussie are great guys to support. Just salt of the earth people. I think this is not news. I don't think it's new news, but Andy May's now working for Joe as a product developer. And you guys know what I think about Andy May. I think that company ASIO is not going to do anything other than get better. Andy's going to be their product development director, specialist. I don't know what exactly his title is, but I can't really think of a better person in the whitetail world that we live in, at least, that to be giving opinions on products. And then Stealth Outdoors, Lou over there at Stealth Outdoors, he just sent me some new stuff. Where's it at? Daggone it, Lou. I'm sorry. Huh. I had it right here the whole afternoon, and I can't find it. But anyway, it's right here. So I was going to show you guys this trick with stealth strips. You can't buy them like this. He did this special for me. But if you take your stealth strips and you cut them into little strips like this, can you see that? You can use that as like tape, like hockey tape, and wrap it around things. That's my invention. What do you think about that, Patrick?
I like that. Can they make it? You know that tape you wear when you have like a sore shoulder? Can you wrap it there too?
Yeah, I guess you could.
What do they call that? Kinetic tape or whatever that
kinetic
stuff
tape.
is? Yeah,
Kinetic
I need a lot of that. I need it all over.
So, Lou saw a video I did. I was talking about doing this, and he cut some of it for me and sent it to me. It's like a roll of really thin stealth strips, and I do it with my carabiners and stuff because it's so hard to do your carabiners, like make them quiet, and I usually cut it with scissors, and then I just wrap it like you would hockey tape
around like a spiral.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Latitude, guys. Latitude's the newest partner. They got a new saddle out called the Maverick. It's kind of a more affordable saddle. Have not got my hands on it. They are going to send me one to try out and kind of give them some feedback on it. It looks really nice. It's a single panel saddle. A lot of good things coming from Latitude. They got a lot of new products coming to market this year. And they do not provide a code for the listeners. They do, but it's going to be like periodically. They're going to like give me a few months a year where I have a code for people to use. So go support those guys. Really good guys. And then some other things I want to talk about. These guys aren't sponsors of the show. Like we have no relationship with them. They're just buddies I've made over the years being involved in the hunting industry. First one is my buddy Dave at Razor. Yep. He was like a fan of the show, and I ordered some broadheads off of him. And anyways, we got to know each other, and he offers you guys, if you use BTE, you get 20% off their broadheads, which is a pretty good chunk of money off of, because they're high-end broadheads. If you're into single bevel fixed blade heads, Razor, you can't go wrong with it. Exodus, I don't have a partnership with them this year, but they still got that BTE code if you guys want to use that to save the 15% off. They're just nice guys and kept that code in there. So that's still working. They're coming out with a new app though, which is pretty cool. So if you guys have some Exodus cameras, they got some new things coming down the line. Anyway, that's all the ad reads today.
Y'all read it?
Let me know if you like that better than like the intro. I don't know. I don't ever know what to do. Heck, I'm just winging this stuff. I just do the intro because it's I don't know, just like a thing for people to. Well, I can rehearse it a little bit.
Edited. It looks really good. Yeah, the intro looks really good.
I'll probably keep doing that, to be honest with you, because Sometimes you got to say more of like if like a company has more going on and they want something new. So I'm not that smart to just do all that stuff off the top of my head.
No, you did fine. Good job.
Uh, oh, thanks.
Good.
Anything crazy happened between last time we talked and
I think that you lost your stealth strips. Don't hire the Secret Service to try to find them because evidently they're blind and they can't see anything. Oh my God! Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight a little bit because
I got quite a few Bible verses about divine intervention and just some of the things that is going on in this country right now. And
I believe it was definitely that. Too close,
man.
Too many things that weren't supposed to happen that happened. Did you see the I saw on Megyn Kelly's show today? She was talking about a guy that was there. I guess he's ex-military, and he introduced Trump, or he was there to talk, and the flag got twisted up behind him in the shape of an angel right before Trump came on. They straightened it out when Trump was on. Look it up. It's pretty neat. It was literally in the shape. It was like the flag got wrapped around itself, but it came down like a dress, kind of like, a gown. And then the under part, both of the parts of the flag, the stars and stripes on this are on one side and the other was out like wings. It was pretty daggum cool. And he talked about how he had a kind of spiritual experience before, and then he had a spiritual experience during the debate that he felt before all this happened. Like there was some presence there. It wasn't watching over everybody, unfortunately. And, I'm sure everybody on here agrees. Our prayers go out to everybody that was injured and the man that passed during that seemed like a hero. But, yeah, it was definitely something, man. I think you got to look for the signs and everything. And then, then today the BS case down in Florida gets dropped.
Yeah.
That's bull snot case and gets dropped. So kind of got to look at the signs. I believe that we're watching history unfold and some pretty miraculous things go on in America. I know a lot of people say that, but
yeah,
it's a very weird time, man.
Man, it really is. It's crazy. There hasn't been that doesn't happen very often, right? Like a president gets shot at or gets hit.
No.
It's crazy that because a lot of times Theodore Roosevelt is another president that got shot on stage, and he was more of people were built different back then, granted, but like he got shot and he ended up finishing his speech after he got shot, but he got shot somewhere in the chest, I think, but it hit something that it didn't, like he had a book or something in his pocket or something. I don't know, something crazy like that happened. But, and as outdoorsmen, we all kind of, most of us are fans of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because of
he did so much. Yeah. He did so much. Didn't he do a lot for our national parks? Wasn't that his big thing? And
he created all
the elk restoration and a lot of that stuff, they named an elk after him too, the Roosevelt elk.
Yeah, it all derived from him. It was all his ideas to start all that stuff. Conservation was a big part of his. That's something that never. I want to do a podcast sometime. I'd have to study up on it a little bit more, but like how our politics affects us as hunters, like as deer hunters. I think that'd be an interesting show.
I think, we're a very political group, believe it or not. I like to think most of us probably. Yeah. I've been in the industry when I was a kid. I'm not on the TV side or that, but I worked at a sporting goods store and I met a lot of these guys and just met a lot of hunters. So, I was in the industry and worked there for 7 years, built bows. I did everything back when I was a kid. Now, don't ask me anything about it now because I forgot it all. But 15 to 21, I worked at a big hunting store here in Memphis. And politically, most people lean, to the right. Seems like that hunt. And, we're always real paranoid about the government and what rules they're going to put and how they're going to make life harder for us hunters and stuff like that. I think that's a lot of the reason why they kind of tend to go more to the right because of the guns and,
for sure.
The left used to be a little bit more environmentally friendly, like legitimately. Like now it's all a scam for climate change and stuff like that, I believe. But like environmentally, they used to do a lot more for our country back in the day than they do now.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do like about RFK's platform is that he's real big on the environment. I think that's good. But yeah, man, it's a crazy time we're living in. I just can't believe a lot of like biblical prophecy, not have anything to do with Trump getting shot yesterday, but just the wars that have to do with Israel and some of the things that have to happen before Revelations. I think they have to get attacked from the north and the west, which is kind of what's starting to transpire over there. It could. I think they're fixing to go to war soon or on the brink with Hezbollah, which is I think in Lebanon. And you got Iran that hates them too. So there's just a lot of bad things we need to pray about going on in the world.
Yeah. And like, man, I told you this the other day or yesterday after where maybe it was even Saturday when he got shot, but like, we had people over the house. We were having just a little like friends that have kids that are our age. We had like 10 kids at our house, but I had to go get a kid's chair. My grandma had them at her house. And I went over there into her house and I walked in and she's watching the news. And of course, we were all just out here in the backyard. And she's like, they shot Trump. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, they shot President Trump. And she goes, well, he's not going to die. I'm like, okay. And I sat there and watched it just for a second. I'm like, oh, forget about this news. I'm gonna get on my phone, so I can.
Yeah.
I came out and just got the update on it. And then, man, I had this weird peace come about me. Like, it just felt like, I mean, there is no other explanation on why he didn't die other than, just God was there with him and God was in control. I mean, now granted, I heard that the shooter was shooting an AR with no scope on it, like iron sights and stuff. I mean, obviously he was clearly that, if it was a inside job, they did not equip the kid very, very good for a 150-yard shot with a.
He went with Ted and Jake to Walmart and got suited up for like $200. Y'all want the assassination kit for $200? Can you get an assassination kit at Walmart? Come on, let's go see.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was the case, but yeah, it was. I just had this like weird, like, man, it just gave me like a little bit of a piece, like,
yeah.
Now, we're far from being perfect,
over, man.
Yeah, but
it won't be over for another 4.5 years, as far as I'm concerned, until he's out of there.
Yeah,
he's safe. I like his VP pick. I think it did pretty good with him today. That guy kind of came full circle. He was a never Trumper, and before he was elected, he was a never Trumper. And then I think he started seeing that he was the real deal during his campaign. I mean, during his presidency. And I guess he's been a good voice for a while for him, surrogate or whatever.
Yeah. I felt bad. There was it popped up. It must be going viral on YouTube, but apparently the shooter had a YouTuber shirt on, and he was like, I don't know exactly what he does.
Gun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to do with guns.
I saw a video that the YouTuber got on there and talked about it. I'm like, man, that has to be the crappiest feeling ever. You'd probably be like, he'd probably be like, oh gosh.
You had some influence over the kid when it came to his guns. And that'd be pretty sad. You have to deal with that.
It's not anything there's a million YouTube channels that talk about guns and how to operate them and stuff. Can
you imagine though, if the Secret Service is going to go talk to him to see if there's anything that I guarantee you they're looking at his channel, to see like, okay, what's going on,
Yeah, but YouTube keeps track of all this. They have a tightrope on gun channels. They don't let them say anything. Out of line. So if he's not demonetized already or kicked off YouTube, he's probably not saying anything bad.
Yeah.
Because and he's a big channel. He has like millions of subscribers, I think.
Yeah. He's probably legit then. Somebody would have reported him if he was jacked up,
Yeah.
They really dropped the ball on that whole thing. I don't know if everybody knows I was a former police officer. I wasn't SWAT or anything like that, but I know a little bit with that kind of stuff. It's a whole different animal than just being a uniform patrol officer. But I did take some dignitary protection classes and learned about some of that stuff. And man, it's pretty bad. I mean, they really dropped the ball
Yeah.
on that whole. I mean, a 20-year-old kid with an AR-15 jumped up on a roof with a ladder, like, and nobody was covering that roof. 130 yards, I think is what they said from
It was,
President.
yeah.
I mean, how does that? That's got to be. I
It
mean,
was like, and looking at the aerial, it's like an obvious spot where you wouldn't want people. I mean, they should have had that place locked down.
yeah, yeah. I think it was purposeful. I heard that some of the people were saying that Trump had asked for extra security, and that they kind of denied him. And they've been denying RFK, which now thankfully RFK has security. So I'm glad about that. I think every presidential candidate that is viable at some point or somewhat viable should have security like that.
Yeah.
I hope we get to have a conversation. I hope we get to see them all on stage. I mean, I'm going to vote for Trump, dude. But unless he starts growing horns and breathing fire,
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for Trump. But I'm also kind of a fan of RFK and some of his stuff. And as a person, it's what he presents now. He's really a common voice. And some of the things that he said after Trump, was shot at. I mean, he got on there and made a statement that was, it just seems genuine. So he should, at least he's got the protection that he needs. I can't believe we're not protecting a presidential candidate, especially one named Kennedy. That shows how power hungry whatever this group is in office right now is, that they're so power hungry. They're willing to risk the lives of presidential opponents to keep power. And I really do believe that. Like,
yeah.
I wish we could get our heads out of our butts and start looking at this thing, as Americans and not as Republicans or Democrats, and as people that want freedom, which we really don't have because taxation. You know how I feel on that. I think I say it at least every other show.
Yeah.
We're working for them to go waste our money. But, for what the freedom that we're at least allowed to have here in America, I think everybody needs to be taking a hard look at what these candidates are saying, and a hard look at what they've seen with their own eyes for the last 2 years go on in our country, and the last 8 years of the two administrations, and look at how they've treated one and how the other one's been treated, and then just the competency. I mean, that would have killed Biden yesterday. If that thing went by and hit him in the ear. I mean, there's not much brain to hit, but I mean, he would have killed him, for sure. I mean, just the air coming off of it would have probably pushed him down. But I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, I would be just as mad if they did that to him, because I mean, everybody in America deserves a vote. I pray for him, but
the left-wing media coverage on this is the most embarrassing thing I've witnessed to. Like the way they've like titled things, and loud cracks in the crowd. Just
it's
like,
so. I don't see how. I do not understand how even like the somewhat informed, now the totally uninformed and oblivious, but like the people that watch NBC, CBS and stuff, I just don't see how they don't see what's going on. Like, I don't see it. Like, I mean, I don't care who it is. I mean, when you see the other two viable candidates, and then you see Biden and the way that he's treating, and his administration is doing the other candidates with the Secret Service and the talk and all that, I just don't know how you can see that we've actually got a fair system in there anymore. And I think,
and like the lack of responsibility that people, like, nobody takes responsibility for anything in politics, and that's what drives me insane. Like, these examples of leaders they should be are just so far from what they are. Like, and I know everybody's been following this really closely, but you can make this point 100 times over. Like, if you call people dictators, if you talk about putting bullseyes on people, like a 20-year-old kid that is super impressionable and lost in this world and thinks he can help you in some way, like, he's going to take you serious, and all you're doing is causing issues, and it's on both sides. I mean, Trump is no angel when it comes to not pushing people's buttons,
Yeah,
but
he knows what he does.
That kind of language is not, I mean, it's just,
they both, I pray they tone it down and just put their policies out, drive home what they're going to do for us, or for America. Keep it simple, let's fund the border. let's pull back from NATO. Let's get out of these wars. Let's get rid of these illegals that have come in the country, and let's fix our problems. And instead of the threat to democracy, which I mean, trying to Joe, your political appointment, all these things are threats to democracy. And just to say it like this guy he's got no chance. I mean, our system is set up to where it would take years, I believe, for someone to take over. And I mean, I think it's happening from inside out to some extent, but for Trump to do it, man, you know how many people he's had to clean out. I mean, he'd have to fire 80% of Washington to get his people in there to take over the country. And I just don't see that happening in 4 years. That's pretty wild to think he would do that.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about this stuff, but I want to get into these Bible verses.
Yeah.
Just we can talk about that mainly. Let's see here. So I got 3 of them I wanted to read to everybody. And the first one, I don't know. I did have these in order, but I'm just going to read them however I got them in here now. But first one comes from Job. We've kind of talked about Job a little bit on this podcast
a couple weeks ago. Yep.
Job, rough go at it. Job had for a while.
Yeah.
When it came to his faith in God. I got my Bible all tore up here, but anyways, it's at Job 42 -2, and these. There's obviously more context behind all these verses. I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm just going to read these because they're just good little passages that we can talk about tonight that pertains to this. But it says, I know that you can do all things and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. So then I wanted to go to Proverbs 19:21. Here it is. It says, many are the plans in the minds of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. And then finally, go over to Jeremiah 37:17. My eyes are not great anymore. I got to sometimes bring my Bible.
You're too young for that.
Yeah. 17 in Jeremiah 30:32 says, "Oh Lord God, it is you who have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and by your outstretched arms. Nothing is too hard for you." So like, I want to read those passages just to remind everybody, and I'm guilty of this just as well as everybody else. But like, there's times where I'm thinking like, man, our country's too far gone. Like we're done, and it's just, we don't know that, man. Like we don't know what God has in store for this country. Maybe we are, and maybe we're not. And I think that's something we are too blinded by sin to know what God's plans is. We will never understand it. So, are we too far gone? We talk about these things in the Bible that have came true that are kind of signs of the ends of time. It's like, yeah, but like, what's that even mean? We don't really know. We can't know. And we have to know that, God created this. And if it is his will to have it continue, then it's going to, if his will has not been done on this earth or in this country yet, he's going to find a way to get that done. So just keep that in mind if you get too down on this country. And
yep. We talked about that too. Like it brings you a lot of peace to read verses like that and to understand that God's really got everything under control, that he's seen it from the beginning to the end and the end to the beginning. So like all this stuff bothers us because we're here. And I mean, I'm not bothering wearing my hat because I just wanted to wear it,
Yeah, it was a funny thing you did.
Yeah, I wore it. So I'm wearing my MAGA hat today. I support Trump. I support, whoever's in office. I want them to do a good job because it affects all of us. I don't like certain policies of certain politicians, but at the end of the day, you just got to pray for God's will. Because I mean, if they're in there, God, he didn't stop it, and he knows how it's going to affect us. And hopefully, this maybe we needed this moment in America for everybody to calm down and reflect. I know there's people that are mad that the bullet went an inch over, and there's people that are celebrating for the death of somebody, which no Christian would do that.
No,
shouldn't. If you really believe in Christ, you pray for everybody.
You're just
pray for your enemies.
Foolish and selfish, and
it's a childish emotion that you would, it's just a stupid childish thing, and I see a lot of it on the internet. But I think most of the country is probably feeling the same relief that he wasn't shot because I mean, I saw Patrick Bet-David talk about it on his podcast that it could have been 1 inch closer, civil war in this country. I mean, that's how close it, we don't know what is the match that would ignite the powder keg that's going on in our country right now. And I don't think people realize how bad that would be for the world, much less our country. I mean, it would destroy us and our standing in the world, and America would no longer, a civil war would destroy us. It'd be the only thing that could destroy us, I believe.
Yeah.
Aside from a nuclear attack, which would destroy everybody. And I think that will ultimately be what probably will be the downfall of America, will be infighting and, or AI. There's always that.
Yeah. But that gave me some, I don't know, I was reading my Bible today and looking for passages about this, and I was like, man, that's true. Like, sometimes we think we are so dang smart that we know exactly what's going to happen in the future. And it's like, it's done and this is over. And it's like, no, maybe not. Like, you don't know that. Like, if God doesn't want it to be, and if he has more in store for this country, like it's not done, man.
We could be at the beginning of a great revival too in this country.
He showed time and time again, reviving, whatever you want to say, countries or just people, nations. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like James said too down there, if you ignore the TV and the internet, everybody gets along, man. This country's beautiful. We have beautiful people here. Everybody gets along. Nobody. They try to play these divisive cards or race cards and things like that. I open the doors for all kind of people of all kind of genders, colors, guys, whatever. They open the door for me. They smile at me, ask me how I'm doing. I ask them how they're doing. I love people, and I think people love other people for the most part. I don't like being around a lot of people, but I love them. You know what I mean?
Well, I know. Well, I got a bunch, dude. I got so many things to say about this stuff tonight, but
well, we got a little while.
Theo Vaughn. This was before Theo Vaughn was like a big comedian. He was a big comedian, but not like he is now. But I've been a fan of Theo's for a long time. And back whenever all the BLM stuff and all the rioting stuff was going on, and supposedly everybody in this country was divided and hated each other, and everybody was so mad, that rhetoric that they're pushing in the media. He like made a point. He's like, where the heck are all these mad people at? Like, he goes, I go out to the gas station and everybody's kind of happy, for the most part. Most people are happy. He's like, where are all the mad people at? It's like, it's such a minority that we just, and politics and the media is just a big entertainment business is really all it is.
It's money. They keep us distracted, being mad at each other. And the thing that's been the worst thing is the internet, because it's dehumanized the human experience. There's no human experience anymore. Like, when you see me talking on here, someone that doesn't necessarily agree or goes with the other side probably thinks that I'm all these ists terms, whatever they are, and I'm not. Like, I love everybody. I don't care who you are. You just, be a good person. If you're a bad person, I love you too. I just pray for you. But, and it took a long time to get to this point, because I used to be on the other side of the coin where, man, these people they're idiots, or that. No, they've got a different set of beliefs and they're entitled to that. We need to respect those, because I want mine respected. And we're just so dehumanized. I think people don't understand, like that kid that shot Trump, right? He's 20 years old. They don't see Trump as a father, a grandfather, a husband, a human being with flaws that's still created in the image of God, that God loves, and that Jesus died for. They don't see all that. They just see a caricature of a person that's been made out to be this thing that they've seen on a screen. So it's almost like the reality that he's a human being is taken away. Like, the internet has stripped us of our humanity and our the realness of the human interaction. And I think, man, something's got to be done about that. I don't know what it is. Cyber attack. Sorry, Josh, it probably hurt your business and stuff. And I'd probably go nuts for 2 weeks, not having my phone to flip through every 5 seconds. But, kids would definitely be better off. And I think as a society, we'd have to talk to each other again. And we'd have to, it's hard to be mad at someone who's smiling and shaking your hand and telling you they love you, even though, hey, I think I disagree with you, but, let's go have a beer, or let me buy you dinner or lunch or whatever. We've gotten away from all that. And it's just we're just preyed upon. The algorithms is another thing, right? So, you get on your phone, and if you're a person that leans to the right, all you see is right wing stuff against the left wing. If you see the left, all you see is right wing stuff. And they make Joe Biden look like a complete idiot because of some things he says. And then if you maybe watch the whole thing, he might have had, he stumbles on his words. I mean, he's kind of done that. It is worse. I believe he's cognitively in decline. I thought he was 4 years ago, which, I mean, it's way worse now than it was then. He was sharp as a tack compared to the way he is now 4 years ago. But I watched old clips of him 4 years ago, and it's not the same person. But when I saw him before, the way that they chopped him up, it really made him look as incompetent as he is today. And so, like, you can take a 5-second clip from either candidate and shape the minds of the gullible.
And you mentioned AI earlier. Like,
Oh,
I am a editor, right? I like edit videos, I edit photos, and I have an eye for it. So like people like zoom in on the crowd and I'm like, no, that's not real. Like that's fake, that's AI or people are making like they had a picture up earlier. I saw someone shared it thinking it's real, and it was a Secret Service smiling as they're.
Yes, I saw that one just a minute ago.
I'm like, no, that's those are all fake. That's all fake smiles, you guys.
No, go look at the original picture. Nobody's smiling after getting shot at because they got shot at too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all like, we got to get him into the beast and be safe, and that's the end of it, right? And so, no, they're not smiling, and people showing that, they're in on it. And the thing is they take that little picture and they believe that.
100% they do.
Like, that's freedom of the press. That is a constitutionally protected thing in our country, right? They can do that. But man, people got to be smarter about this stuff and just think, does that really make sense? And I guess some people are just so stupid. They think, look, those Secret Service agents are smiling because Trump got shot.
Yeah.
No, they ride with him. I'm sure they probably like him because he's a likable guy. I'm sure every one of them, regardless of their affiliation politically, probably love working for Trump because he's probably gracious and he's probably really, good to those people, Yeah.
It's just insane. It's crazy. And I think, back in the day before the internet the internet, it took a little while for the internet to really take over, but like,
what,
you didn't have, you kind of knew who were the BS news, you had the tabloids, I think is what you called them back then.
Yeah.
And you had your credible news sources where you got the information, and like, you always had, my grandpa, he always watched CNN because back in the day,
they gave the 90s.
It was more credible. All of them were, and you kind of could trust what they were saying. And now it's just
did Ted Turner own that?
Yeah,
I think he owned it. Back when he owned it, I think it was pretty legit, and then he sold it. And I guess whoever bought it, they've turned it into a propaganda station, like every other. I mean, they're all. Fox News is propaganda. CNN, they're all propaganda, man.
Like, where do you even get real information? I mean,
podcasts.
You got like Ben Shapiro in it, but he's kind of right leaning. But it's like I don't know. Or what's his company name? You just got to make your own.
The Daily Wire.
Daily Wire, yeah. But you got to make your own. And it's harder now than ever because you don't know you don't know who to trust.
Well, even they're extreme because they're looking for clicks, right? Because they want their message out there. They're all have an ego. They want to be the person, and I see, and I like her, but Candace Owens is the most obnoxious person, I think. I mean, she's just obnoxious the way that she goes about it. She's mean, and she does not represent the kindness of a Christian. I mean, she's very upfront. She's very intelligent. I agree with 99% of what she says, but her delivery is so offensive that she turns people off. And there's certain people that, they try to do that or be that way so that they can get clicks and likes. And that's what the media is trying to catch up. Like, they're really slow to the game and they don't understand how to do it. So they're so over the top with the BS that they put on. Instead of people just want the daggum news, man. Let us decide. Show us the whole clip of what Trump said that you think is so offensive, and then let the American people decide. Don't show the 5 seconds it damns him and makes him look like a horrible person, and then try to push that. And that's what they do because that's what sells, right? They build their audience based on selling them a load of crap, and then they continue to feed them and these people just get zoned in on it. And like, I mean, I used to watch Fox News and listen to what these people said. And when I stopped and started watching different people on different channels, podcasts, and you get different opinions and views, and they're not all right wing that I watch. You know, I mean, I respect some people in the left. You know, I don't like him, but Bill Maher's come around, and a lot of the stuff he says makes sense about his own party. I mean, he's got TDS too, but he still can be a little sensible. He's what the old liberals used to be. And
Yeah.
I just think that the internet has really messed things out. Timcast is good too. I see that down there.
Yeah, and there's some, maybe we need to look into some of these guys that you guys are talking about.
Timcast is really good. Like, he's pretty much like, he shows the whole clip and just analyzes it with his guys that he's got on there, and they're all really smart, just nerds that are into politics and probably Dungeons and Dragons, man.
Yeah.
But they're really pretty legit. You know.
Yeah, I've heard of him, and I've seen some of his stuff. I don't get too caught up in any of it, to be honest with you. But
yeah, you're better if you don't.
Yeah. And I think another problem we have in this country is like nobody can have their own opinion anymore. Everybody just, I mean, you just spill out whatever you heard on the internet, and you get kind of this cult followings with people, whether it be, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, like all these guys that are, and then people just repeat whatever they hear, So it's like, try to figure out what you really think, have your own feelings and opinions on it, and go from there,
Yeah, I tell everybody, look at your life 4 years ago. Pretty simple. Take COVID out of the equation, because I think Trump really messed up on some COVID stuff. I don't like the lockdowns. I think the vaccine was a mistake, things like that. But and maybe it wasn't. That's just my opinion. I know the lockdowns, I think they were a mistake. I think we should have kept the country open and kept rolling along and steamrolled these other countries while they shut down. But they didn't do that. It is what it is. Overall, though, his presidency, I had more money in my pocket. My feeling of safety and security was better. I had a feeling that everything seemed to be going in a really good direction, like in the 90s when Clinton was in office. I mean, that was the best period of time I remember. I know it was really good during Reagan's presidency, but I wasn't really aware of what happened. I remember in the 90s, that when Clinton was in office, we had and it's not necessarily just because of Clinton. I mean, Gingrich balanced the budget 2 years. He's the last Speaker of the House to balance budget. I mean, we didn't have all this debt. We still were in some wars. The war machine has rocked forever until Trump stopped it. But it was better back then. And then now, I lost my train of thought for just a second there. What was I talking about? I was talking about how, I look at my life like when has it been seemed the best, where I had the least amount of concern over finances and how much is my food going to cost at a restaurant. Gosh, I got to put another $150 in my diesel today. And it was 4 years ago. And if we can have the possibility of going back to that and then maybe even better, that's where I'm going to go. This last 4 years to me, I don't think it's been a total failure. I think Biden probably has done some good things that I'm not aware of because I haven't paid attention. But I mean, the majority of it is just my life is a lot harder today, and it was last year, a little harder than it was the year before financially than it was. And as a business owner, too, than it was before.
Patrick's cut way more grass back in the Trump administration.
Yeah, that might be part of it. I cut back on my grass cutting, but
I just kidding.
I mean,
he planted a lot more flowers and trees back then. And
I was a little more fired up too. I hadn't been in the business for like 8 or 9 years, so I was kind of like, yeah, give me. But this year was dead. I mean, usually I'm used to making a certain amount by this time, and man, I'm so far behind, and it's just nobody's spending money because either they all spent the COVID money and the money that was put into our economy then, or they're, but it's just they're feeling the hard times just like we all are. And I just want to get back to where the middle class, you and me and the guys that probably watch this podcast, are happy to go to work and feel like we're actually putting some money into things we either want or into our pocket, rather than it just all just going, where the heck did it go? I got to get a second job,
Yeah. All right. 2 things. You guys know I get most of my news from the 307 podcast. from Chad
Oh,
Wright.
you don't,
But
do you?
he had a video today about this and about the Secret Service. He worked with the Secret Service quite a bit in the Obama administration whenever he was on the SEAL team. And he kind of blamed the Obama administration for how the Secret Service is operating now. Like he said, they tore the Secret Service apart during that administration, and they were not allowed to do anything at all unless, and then they were going to get pretty much thrown to the wolves if they messed up anything. And now he's, he doesn't know all the details, like he said in his little video, but he said it's not as easy as what I think it is. Though he said I wouldn't want those guys' job for $1 million a year.
Yeah, it's policing. I mean, he did the same thing with the police departments during his administration. Yeah. He was the beginning of what you see now, which is lawlessness. I mean, he just going up there after the kid got killed in Florida, and then that bogus shooting. The cop had to shoot Mike Brown and whatever that was, Ferguson.
Yeah.
And, he politicized all that. And, and then it just, I mean, that just built on the back of having to start policing the police. And like, the police don't need to be policed like this. They don't. I'm sorry. I was a police officer. You got some bad eggs in there, but most of them are good guys. And when you're fighting the devil, there's no rules, man. You can't have rules when you're fighting evil. And like, the more rules you put on the good guys that follow the rules, the bad guys don't follow those rules. So I can assure you that like the Secret Service, they're like, or that cop that was trying, if this is true, that he was trying to get, the green light to take out the shooter before it, it's almost to the point where we'll wait till he shoots Trump and then, we'll know. No, that's too late. Like he should, like 10 years ago, that dude he'd have been dog food, for, it would gone. But now they have to wait. There's so many policies and regulations and procedures that police officers have to go for because they don't trust the uniform patrol officer. And I'm sure the Secret Service agent, the bureaucrats and the higher ups don't trust them to make the decisions, anymore. So it's a hard job. I feel for those guys because I'm sure it affects them just like it did me when I was on the bar.
Oh, I guarantee they don't feel good about it. Like, you know what I mean? How it played off.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a pretty black eye in their department now.
Well,
maybe, obviously this is insensitive because someone did die in this, but like maybe that's a blessing for that kind of thing,
right.
Maybe the rules are going to be changed a little bit, some reforms going to come to that department. And
problem is they got a woman running it. She's probably an ideologue and not a law enforcement officer. So she probably has no clue and has never actually worn a vest and gone out there and put her life on the line. I don't know that for a fact, but usually people that they place in those positions and appoint, and then over her is Mayorkas, and he's a total failure. I mean, Lord, look at our border, and he's terrible. So when you put those kind of people in positions of power where they're over agencies like that, this is what you get: incompetence, and they have never been forced with the decision whether to shoot somebody or not. They've never even been close to that, probably, I would assume. So, like, they shouldn't be in charge of an agency where you might have to do that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Man.
Women don't have any place in law enforcement. I'll say that. I work with some great female officers, but for the ones I work with, there were 15 that were terrible. So, like, it's a man's job, and it's that way for a reason. Women are good investigators. They can make pretty good supervisors, but on the street, they're not going to win a fight against a child, a 13-year-old boy, much less a grown man that wants to kill him. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't believe it. And that's who runs it. I think a female is running the Secret Service. And if I'd read right the next day, it might get fact checked. But that just, I think that's a big.
It just is what it is. I mean, I think Joe Rogan has like a joke about that, about that situation. He talked about I think it was the female that runs the Secret Service,
Yeah.
He's like, who would you rather be guarding the doors of the White House, like her or, Brock Lesnar? Like, it's just a man. It's just a, it's just, it is
How about that chick? How about that chick that was, how about that girl in the photo that was cowering down behind them? It could have been just she was moving
around her gun and stuff, and it's like,
I mean, that is what you get when you get people that have no business doing that job.
Yeah. And like, we shouldn't even like point out women in that. It's just, it could be a man that is,
but
whatever.
like, you get a certain thing with women that you don't get with men. And I'm not trying to seem sexist or chauvinistic or anything, but that is a position. This is the most powerful position in the world. He ought to be covered with however many is in his detail. It's usually like 6 that are close to him, right? He should be covered with 6 of the most Brock Lesnar looking people. And that's like brick walls that if you shot them without a vest, it's going to bounce off them.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need some, slightly obese woman guarding the president. Sorry.
And I know that this administration's been really big on equality and all that kind of thing. And whatever you think about that, that doesn't matter. But like positions like that should be all thrown out the window. Like you need to have the best person, the best body for that job.
Dan Bongino, dude. Dan Bongino needs to run the Secret Service.
Yeah.
He did it for 15 years. He's a patriot, super smart guy, in shape, I mean, somebody like that is who Trump needs to appoint to the Secret Service so that you don't have this catastrophe. I mean, everything in this, I'm starting to go down a rabbit hole. I'm just going to do it for 1 second, Josh. Everything in this administration, this DEI, everybody deserves a chance because of their color, their sex, their beliefs, their sexual orientation, and we're going to make sure we represent everybody in our country is not. You do not win wars. You do not run countries that way. You do not present strength that way. Strength is with the strongest people that you can have. I don't want a bunch of people that are in a war because they have a certain color or sexual orientation or gender. I want the most brutal, I want the worst, scariest, brutal killers on my military that are trained, that can control their anger, aggression. I don't want a bunch of the other stuff we're doing. We're just so wrong with that thought. I mean, they don't do that in any other country.
It's insane. It is. And it's also like, I guarantee you those soldiers don't want that either. Like they want the baddest MRFer in the business next to them,
Yeah. I mean, but you do. I mean, I think, people are conditioned now, like, these young kids that are getting in the military now, like that's all they know, DEI and inclusion and women. So they think it's just part of it. Like they don't realize, I don't think that 90% of them really realize how dangerous that is for everyone. Because when I had female partners in the police department, I had to watch their back. They would mouth off and say things that men wouldn't say because I don't know if they're trying to make up for stuff. This is not all of them. Like I said, I had some really good females that I worked with that I would work with again and share a ward with and stuff like that. But the majority of them is enough that the minority of good ones should not be allowed. And I'm sorry, I'm sure it offends people, but that's how I feel, man. Because they're a liability. They cost lives. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. Like it's just a fact of humans, right?
Yeah. I mean, there were male officers that were worse than a lot of female officers too.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you have to look at the numbers and you want the most qualified, you need an army and a police force of terrible looking men that are going to destroy you if you break the laws. And that's, and then you get rid of lawlessness real quick.
Yeah.
I know
what's so sad about all this stuff, man, is it's all just done for votes. Like it's all 100% ego driven, 100% selfishly done so that I get more votes because I'm, I got the attention of whatever you name the race or exactly. Mm-hmm. It's just like, man, dang it. Now someone died in Pennsylvania the other day, some dad, some husband, some firefighter, like he died because we get so sensitive towards this type of thing. Instead, you should have had a Tim Kennedy character out there directing things,
Yeah.
Like
you need ex-military and stuff like that doing that. And they had police officers there, but I'm sure they were, I don't know what kind of, demographic and how big Butler, Pennsylvania is.
I don't know either.
I've never heard of it. So, I mean, it's not Pittsburgh where you probably have a large police force. But the police force, they usually do detail with dignitaries like the president, and it's usually SWAT. It's always SWAT, pretty much. You might have the motor scars, your motorcycle officers that get them to and from, motorcade, but actually to protect, it's going to be SWAT. And, 99% of all SWAT in America is men, thankfully, still. It's just it's terrible. I saw some girl comment about women in the military, and she actually agreed, because she's like, she was a Marine, she was a Marine, and she made it through everything. But like she said, the qualifications for her were much lower. The standards were lower for a female, because they don't have what it takes to compete.
They can't do it.
They can't do it on a level with men. But other than probably Israel, maybe some of the Western countries, which, we don't really go to war with them, since Germany, the ones that we might be in war with, they ain't doing that crap. The women are at home, man. They're not on the front lines. It's like I said, what was it last week? They're not meant to take bullets for men. They're meant to be protected. There's a reason we're designed the way we are.
Yep. Anyway. So. Yeah. No, I mean, it is what it is. I think the vast majority of people probably agree with us. Again, it's just the optics of it all is what is so frustrating. The reasoning behind it is very selfish for the most part. In that terms, Now I can, I get some of the corporate stuff. Maybe you can argue some of that stuff. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But like those jobs, man, just hire the right person.
Yeah. Let's get away from this. Everybody gets a trophy stuff, and some traditions aren't meant to be broken.
Yeah.
Reading comments.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with them very well. One other funny thing about Chad in taxes, Chad Wright, he won't pay for his license plates. Like forever, he just wouldn't renew his license plates and stuff.
Yeah,
because he thought it was just a crime against the American people.
Yeah, I didn't do it either. When I was on police department, I didn't get taxed the whole time I was on police department. Maybe 1 year. I pull over and I'd be like, "Here's my badge." You're like, "Dude, why are your tags 6 years out?" I'm like, I don't want to buy them.
Well, come to find out, veterans get free plates.
Sorry, I abused my privilege as a police officer, guys. Go figure. I also put my life on the line, every day. So the least I did was get a free meal from Chick-fil-A and what was it? Hang out at the Mapco with a drink, and then maybe speed a little bit and whatever.
I guess he got like a new Land Cruiser or something, like an old new Land Cruiser to him, and he has like, I better go get at least one plate. I can flip flop around on my vehicles, and he's like, come to find out, like it's free for veterans. You get free plates. So this whole time he was driving around without them, and he's like, "Oh, I got him. I didn't know."
You get antique tags on stuff like that. I mean, his Land Cruiser's 25 years old. I mean, he can get antique tags. He's doing like John does. Like John's got tags. He just swaps it with. I don't think he's gotten tags for that new truck. He's got a nice new truck. Like, I don't think you saw it. No, you didn't see it. No, he got it after you left, right? You didn't see that truck he got. You saw the Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I got the Lexus.
Yeah, he got a really nice F-150 King Ranch loaded, but it's like an older one. It's like a 16 model or 17 model, but it's like way too nice for him. Like way too nice for him.
Yeah.
It'll be destroyed, but yeah, he's doing the whole swap thing, and just because he can't set us up.
Read some of the comments. I got to go pee.
All right.
I drink that coffee.
Reading comments, guys. Let's see. 80-year-old women should bake pies. I don't know how to put them on the screen. I like that, though. I can't do that. That's Josh. We got to wait on Josh to get back. He's the man with all that stuff. Let's see. I'm going to go up in the comments. Do they not give you free plates, James? They don't do it here either. Everybody always wanted, a lot of police officers get the fraternal order police tags. I never got them because I felt like that put a target on my back when I was driving. firefighters, they always get the tags for their cars, and I think that works out good for them. But yeah, too many people hate the police for me to put tags on that let them know. I didn't have anything. Thin blue line sticker. Like, if you saw my truck, you'd have thought I'm just a whole regular guy driving down the road. You know, I didn't wear police T-shirts. Like, man, there's so many guys, those young guys, they get on and they go out, you know, first week on the job, and they got their belt, they got their gun, you know, their duty weapon on their belt. They got their badge on their belt that, you know, you wear with your duty weapon when they go out to the club. I'm like, so you're going to go to the bar with your gun and your badge? Like, that's the dumbest thing, man. They used to do it all the time. You know, I never did that. Of course, I was older when I got on. I was 29. These kids are like 21.
Yeah. They still think they're real cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, it's cool when you're police, you know, to have all that stuff. It is pretty neat, but I don't miss it.
Yeah.
What else do you want to talk about? I don't know. Let's talk about hunting a little bit.
Yeah. You put out any trail cameras or anything yet?
No, I haven't done anything. I can't get into it. I talked to John. I was going to go out to the farm the other day and put out some cameras and do some salt. And it was 908 degrees here. So I said, I think I'll wait till it cools off. I think it's going to cool off this week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We had heat advisory all day today.
Yeah, we did too. It was hot, man.
Man, I know.
We cut some grass and did a little mulch this morning, and I was over it like at 12. It was so hot. I mean, I get up really early and start cutting grass. So 12 o'clock, we're about done with an 8-hour day. But
yeah, I don't want everybody to be jealous. If you're into fishing, you know what a Shimano Corrado baitcaster is?
Yeah, oh yeah, used to sell them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Walmart screwed up on their website, and they had them for $70 a piece.
What?
They're normally $209. It was up for like an hour. I bought a pile of them.
eBay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them on eBay. I'm gonna keep some of them, but anyway.
Yeah, are you gonna do them on your little resale?
Yeah. But I mean, it was only up there for like an hour, and then as I don't know what happened, but they popped back up to 209, like, you know, within an hour. Luckily, I saw it
selling the heck out of them. Went, man, why are these Corrados selling so much? And they're like, what?
$72, dude.
Yeah, what do those cost new now?
209.
Oh man, when I used to sell them, I want to say that was their lowest end. You had the Corrado, and then you had one more below that.
Yeah, the Sitka or Sika.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody might know in the comments. But the Corrado was like the next one up in Shimano.
Yeah,
and I want to say that one, like the one you're talking about, was like $79.
Yeah,
and the Corrados were like $100 to $109. I can't believe they're over $200 now.
Yeah, $209 now.
Wow, it was $100 back when I started, and they were the same. They look, I don't know what color are they? Still green? That greenish color?
Yep, they're green.
Do they look any different?
A little bit. They used to be, when my very first good reel was a Corrado, and I bought it all. I had this old man named Bradshaw, and he first name Brad, last name Shaw, not Bradshaw like Terry Bradshaw, but he sold me one of his old ones, and it was a big gray one.
Yeah,
it was it was big and heavy thing. And then I got the 200Es, they were called.
Yeah.
And those are green. Those were the first green ones. But yeah, they're a little bit different looking than they used to be.
Oh yeah, they've changed. They've kind of modernized, but it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of reel.
Very similar though, but man, they are. I mean, for the money,
so smooth.
For the money, they're the best, I think.
Yeah,
but
I use those. I had a bunch of those Lew's BB1NGs. I don't know if you had any of those.
Yeah, BB1s. My buddies did, but I never. I was a Shimano guy.
Yeah, Shimano. When Shimano started making those, like the Lew's were the ones everybody used, and they went to Shimano Sitka. That's it right there.
Yeah, the Sitka.
That's Sitka.
That was the lower end one.
Yeah, they were like, that one.
They got ones above the Corrado too.
I remember, man, when they were those Sitkas were like $88. That was in like the mid or late 90s, I think, when I worked there. And the one that you got was like 120 maybe.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and then they kept making some. Man, they made the Calais.
Yeah, the M something with an M. I can't remember. But then you're starting to get up. I didn't even consider those. They were so expensive.
Mike's got a question down here. Does anybody know the key to ensuring that your scope on a rifle holds zero? Get a good scope.
Right. Quality scope, man.
Quality scope over
quality.
the gun.
Yeah, quality rings.
Yep. You can get an old crappy gun and put a great scope and some good rings on them, and yeah, the scope is everything. Yeah. Most scopes are built pretty good today. I don't think a lot of them, I don't know, like back in my day when I used to sell them, our lower end scopes were like Simmons had a lot of lower end scopes.
Costco.
Tasco, Bushnell were low end back then. What was another one that was that red? What was those?
Yeah.
I can't think of it. It had that weird end that was, I think the end of it, one end or the other was kind of oblong. I can't remember those. Those were real popular for a while. How you doing? Everybody's doing good up North Outdoors. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah, man. Got it good today.
But your scope thing, that's just quality, man.
You what kind of scope are you shooting, Mike? For the money, I'd say you can't really go wrong with Vortex for the money because even their lower end stuff, and it's got a
lifetime warranty.
Yeah, lifetime warranty on it. I mean, you could throw that thing. Redfield, thank you, Lewis.
Redfield, yep, that's it.
Redfield. I was thinking about those. That was like a lower end, but like a one everybody bought, like the better of the lower end.
Yeah.
And then of course Leopold's always been good, and then the ones like Swarovski and Zeiss, those were just like way too expensive. But
Maven makes a really good scope now too.
Yeah. Now Vortex, when Vortex came out though, they were kind of a cheaper scope that used real glass. Like their optics were like way above the cheaper brand scopes for what you got.
Yeah,
I would have some Maven stuff.
Maven is really good. Vortex is really good. SIG makes really good stuff now. And Loophole. That's probably where I would stick for that budget stuff. And I know you guys think like that's all expensive. Like it's not though. Like
not anymore.
When you get to Leica, if you get to Swarovski, those are your high end in optics. You got it. I mean, there's just a gigantic difference in between like your Tascos and then going up to your Vortex Maven, and then you got the next step up. So if you stay in those, do what?
I shoot a Trophy Ridge.
Oh, you're going on to the next. Oh yeah.
No, I was saying my the Trophy Ridge because I don't rifle hunt anymore, but I got loopholes on my stuff that my guns from when I used to rifle hunt.
Yeah, any of those brands are good.
Scope should cost more than rifle. Yeah, I heard scope loosens zero from vibration of airplane. That's you always want to check it after you are on an airplane. Four-wheeler, I don't ever put mine on one of those racks on the front. That one, you remember that Colpin gun boot that would go on the side that you put like, I think those are probably okay because they got a lot of cushion. But if you put them on the handlebar thing, no. I just wore it on my back. I'd rather sling it on my back when I ride.
That's a good tip. Yeah, because I haven't used a lot of four-wheelers.
Or as the rednecks do, you just put it in your lap. That way you can get it
right. It's ready.
Yeah, you're at the ready, But yeah, I would Leupold. I mean, even the low end ones. What are they like? $299 now, $300 maybe. You can get at $399. You can get a good Leupold, and they're still like for that price, which is pretty cheap for a scope. They're great, great scopes. And do they have a lifetime warranty on them too?
They probably do. All those companies do. I mean, that Vortex.
But they're not like, I think Vortex is like, you can take our scope. It's like All-Star rods. You remember All-Star rods?
Oh yeah, you go break it and then just
you could break it. Oh yeah, you could break it. I had guys that I worked with, and I remember the guy I worked with, Jobel. He was like, "Yep, I'm about tired of this rod." Whack! And just broke it right in front of me. I was like, "Dude!" It was a SJ1 flipping rod, and he was like, "Yep, I want me a Loomis." So I went and got him a high-end G Loomis rod we sold. Bought it instead. If you're going to go with Vortex, if you're going to get high end stuff, it's the Razor, and they got a few. I mean, you can spend anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 on a Razor scope. There just depends on what kind of specs you want in them. And then Maven, if you're going to get a good Maven, they have like their. Oh man, I should know this because I got two of them, but they got their high end scopes. You can tell the high end on the prices. So. Then the Maven has their C series, which is good, and then Vortex has their Viper series, which is your budget stuff. And then Vortex also has another level of it's called the Diamondback, and they have that too. So,
there's a lot of options out there, man. But yeah,
What's the
I
low
would.
end loophole now? It used to
Do
be
what?
Very X2. Very X2 was the
Man,
lowest
the
loophole.
loophole
They
scope, I've
renamed it.
never owned a loophole scope, so I can't really speak on them. I've just always had Vortex or Maven stuff.
Man, I sold so many loopholes back in the day. Like that was the number one scope. We pushed them too because it was the best, most budget friendly scope. You had Zeiss, but they started at 1,500, and that's back in the 90s. 1,200.
Right. People couldn't
Swarovski,
afford that.
they were at 1,200, and they started there, and that was for their lower end stuff. So
Yeah.
I think Zeiss made a Conquest around 2000 that was a under $1,000 scope. That was a dadgum really good scope.
Leica is another big brand, as really high end glass.
I think they're the best, probably.
Yeah, Leica is really good.
You ever look through a pair?
Oh yeah, I owned a pair at one point in time. Yeah,
man, you're bougie.
Well, yeah,
I always wanted a pair. I dreamed about a pair. I never did.
I bought a used pair off eBay one time and messed with them a little bit and thought, like, why do I have this expensive? I'm like, I just my Mavens work fine.
Yeah. Leica does make good stuff. They make camera stuff too. Most of your camera lenses are Leica lenses a lot of time.
Yeah,
aren't yours Leica lenses? I know a lot of my
Zeiss, Sony's Zeiss stuff. Yeah. Mike, I doubt Loophole's making their glass in America. I don't think any of it is.
They used to be made in America.
Yeah, I don't think it is anymore.
I don't think anybody is. Vortex is though, and in Vortex made in America?
No,
none
of it.
I thought they were.
No, I don't think any glass is made in America anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, look, our Loophole scopes in America. Oops. Here we go. They're designed and machined in their facility in Oregon, but I don't think any of their parts are from America.
Yeah.
Or their glass, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, Shields is crazy, James. Like the stuff that they do is crazy.
Japan and China is where they come out of. Japan has good glass. So you got like anybody that is not Zeiss, Leica, or Swarovski, you're getting from Japan or China. And then the big companies, the big three, Zeiss, Leica, and Swarovski, they're European.
Yeah.
And everything else is Japan or China.
Swarovski's German, right? Isn't Swarovski German?
I think so.
And they're crystal. I think their lenses are crystal.
They have they have the patent on something to where nobody else can use what they use.
Yeah. I think they use crystal is what it is. I might be wrong. I know they make crystal stuff, and I think their stuff's made out of crystal.
Yeah. But
Germany's probably the best. German engineering, man. Japan's good stuff though too. Japan, a lot of good stuff out of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
China. You gotta stay away from China.
I think so. I think here's what's probably happening. I think with like Vortex or Maven, for example, their high-end scopes are Japan glass. Okay. And then their lower end stuff's probably China stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got, then they don't have access to the German or the European stuff.
China.
So yeah, Zeke says all the glass is China, Japan, or Germany.
Yeah. I would imagine that's where most of us made. I like Leopolds, but I'm not really like. I don't have a preference.
I think it's all good stuff. I don't think it's. I mean, as long as you're, get what you like,
Yeah, I know Nikon was terrible. Like when we sold Nikon, their stuff was bad about losing zero. Like,
oh really?
Bad. Oh yeah.
Well, they had some marketing behind them because Realtree, all them guys were big Nikon guys and all that. Yeah. So
they had good glass. Like their lenses were good. They were really clear. Their optics. Yeah, they were good. They compared good when you take them out. Because I'd always take customers out at dusk if they were there at dusk, and I go, all right, this is when you want to see when your optics work, your best. And we were in the city, but it was still, you could tell. And they were pretty close. Like when Nikon started making a lot of their better glass back in like late 90s, they were pretty daggum close to Leupold, but the quality just wasn't there. I mean, we would return Nikons constantly for with Nikon and Simmons were the two we returned the most of. Barely any Leupold. And usually Leopolds were like somebody dropped them and, dented them or put a break in them or something like that,
Yeah. I had the old Nikon Pro staff, but binos.
Yeah,
But
I think I had one of those.
I think Nikon quit making hunting equipment because they have some anti-hunting stuff at the top of their game there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
I haven't seen their stuff around.
They don't make hunting equipment anymore.
Yeah, okay, because I didn't know that.
They
I
make
know.
golf range finders.
No, yeah,
But
yeah.
they don't make hunting equipment. They don't
When you
market
go into when you go into like Bass Pro Shops and stuff like that, like you pretty much only see. I mean, you might see a Swarovski scope, but it's majority Vortex and Leupold, pretty much what I see in there.
Yeah,
And then you have your really cheap stuff.
Maven's direct to consumer.
Yeah, probably a good thing.
Yeah. Swarovski's in a lot of the big box stores. They're still pretty prevalent everywhere.
Yeah,
you gotta. I think to get like dang, what is there? There's another company that I can't remember the name of it now. It's made really good glass too, but
Schmidt and Bender.
No, that
Schmidt and
wasn't
Bender. Schmidt and Bender's like elite, like it's up there.
Sure, yeah.
You ever heard of them, Schmidt and Bender?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty daggum good.
There's a bunch of them, like there's Athlon now. There's some other ones. There's a bunch of them, but
man, industry changes.
Yeah,
the very
budget. I don't even know if that's what he was asking. I think he was more asking us about how to handle them.
But, yeah, well, and I think he was saying his scope's not holding zero, and it's probably, I don't know what kind of scope it is, but if it's not what we're talking about, one of those should be holding zero, and then you might want to check your mounts. I used to mount scopes too, and
90% of the time that's the problem.
It is. You want to make sure everything's got Loctite on it and that it's good, not red Loctite, blue Loctite, and that's the big thing. Yeah, Schmidt was good. Schmidt and Bender's good. They make good scopes. I can't believe you had never heard of that.
Hoka? Was there a Hoka? No, that's a Koa. Koa. I can't remember. There's a bunch of small companies.
Can I get an L? Pat, can I get an L?
Oh, Steiner.
That was another good one. Yeah, they make good binoculars. I never saw their scopes or anything. Actually, we did sell their scopes because we started carrying them. Like one of the reps brought them in, and we carried a very small, small, what do you call it? Product line of them, like maybe like one pair of binoculars or two pair and two scopes. We didn't carry a lot of them, not like we did Leupold and the rest of them.
Yeah.
They went back to here in Tennessee.
Steiner still makes good optics. They're still in the market.
You talking about Steiner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trigicon.
That's another big one too. They make
Burris. That's the one I was thinking of. I'm on.
They had
right now. Look at it.
Yeah, we're going through all of them, man. I forgot about Burris. Just look at Primo's videos. They changed sponsors like
you'll be able to find all of them there.
Yeah, oh my God. If you went back to like the Truth 1 through the 2, they've been through every bow company between 1 and 10, every binocular. They had Leica 1 year. They've been Bush now. They've been I've never seen Leupold. They were Burris, Tasca. I mean, they've had everything. Golden Eagle bows, PSE bows. Now that I think they've been with Matthews for a long time now.
Barska, that's a Walmart brand. Remember them? Barska.
No, I don't remember them.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap. I think that's pretty much. I mean, there's a bunch of like thermals stuff. Hawk. That's another one. Bushnell, obviously.
You didn't catch that.
It took me a second, but I got it. One good thing that's come out of all this is I feel like that meme has slowly started to.
It's going away.
I know. My feed's been taken over by Trump stuff instead of.
Yeah. Yeah, ASIO Swarovski, I agree, Sam. Those are top-notch scopes. Like, they're really good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. My buddy Alan has Swarovski spotter and binos.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Vortex.
Best thing Vortex has that UHD glass now too. That's really good. But
was that ultra high definition or something?
Yeah, but it's expensive though. It's like for a pair of 10x42s, I think you're looking at $3,000 or so.
What'd you put on that gun that you brought down for the velvet hunt last year?
I have a high-end Maven.
Okay, yeah.
I mean that scope's $1,500. Yeah, they're all that expensive, dude. The cheap, like Zeke was saying, for the razors, $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with Zeke. I'm a buy once, cry once kind of guy.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you got better resale.
Yeah. I mean, to be frank, I didn't pay. I mean, I didn't pay for that Maven. I got a deal on it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. I probably would. I love it. Like now that I've used something like that, it's like, okay, yeah, that's super
Makes a
nice.
difference, doesn't it? I mean, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Your optics do for sure.
Yeah. It automatically made my shooting better. I mean, by a long shot. Far distance at
It
least.
just depends too, like where you're hunting too. Because I mean, if you're hunting open fields, I would suggest buying the Swarovski is a really great scope. It's got the turrets on, ballistic turrets on it, and you can go to an app on your phone and it tells you exactly where to set your turrets for the yardage that you're shooting for that bullet. So basically, you zero it at 200, and then you can go and like everyone's color coded out to 500 yards, and you just to click to that specific bar depending on the shot, and exactly the bullet, it compensates for it. Like if you're shooting fields, but that's really overkill. If you're shooting in the woods, you don't really need that much in the woods. Just get you a good sturdy 3 to 9 to 40 50. I always did 50 because I like the light gathering capability, but a 40 is just fine for
bigger
woods.
field of view.
Yeah, bigger field of view, more light gathering, give you an extra 10 minutes of shooting light. Depending on what state you're in. That's what I always used to tell customers.
Yeah, I could have a whole podcast about optics just because
we all do a gear podcast. Just
dump our gear on here.
Yeah, just talk about stuff we've used or stuff we liked that we've used, and different things that have helped us out. I think everybody, and then later, like everybody comments like they do here, and then we can kind of just talk back and forth and kind of get other people's feedback on stuff. It's pretty cool. I've used a lot of stuff. I'm a gear nut, so I'm always buying
use a lot of that stuff. Yep, and I am too. I just don't talk about it because I don't like to hear other people's opinions most of the time about my gear. Does that make sense? Like I like to talk about it. I don't like to argue about it though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna argue. I don't think anything's the best. I mean, I will tell you what's junk. What I think's junk, and I'll give you a good reason why. But like, you pretty much can't go wrong with any of the brands people are talking about. And today, like things are just made so much better today than they were back when I was in the hunting industry.
And that's what I meant by that. Like, I hate whenever you're using something and people be like, "You need to be using this." I'm like, "You never even used what I used. Like, you don't even like quit."
Yeah, well, it's just good to get information. It's good because everybody's got different information on stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I so much wish with gear, I'd have so much more money right now in my pocket if social media didn't exist. Like you'd buy something that you think is really awesome and you just be happy with it. And you never even know because you don't see the 5,000 people you got on Facebook and what they're using,
I was happier in my 20s when I didn't have money to buy anything.
I know. I am now. I was so excited about just buying the simplest thing. Like that first Corrado I had, like I was like, oh, I've made it, like this is awesome. I'll never need another reel again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me too. I mean, I had the same bow from 1998 to 2011 and killed my biggest deer with that bow in 2011, and then got a new bow in 2012, and I had that bow till 2020, and then got a new bow in 2020, and I'm still shooting the same bow, and I'll probably shoot it for a few more years. Yeah. Bows aren't something I really go through a lot because they're all the same. If you can shoot it, that's all you need. You don't have to have the newest one every year.
Yeah. Mike asked if we've ever thought about tracking in the snow in a place like Maine or Ontario.
Great thing to do. Anytime you get a snow.
Well, he's asking if we ever thought about going up there and doing that.
Oh, tracking
deer.
Tracking
like
deer.
Tracking them and shooting them.
That'd probably be fun.
Yeah.
You can do it. I mean, I love hunting in the snow just for that reason. I tried it last year on my hunting club. And
you guys probably never get out in the snow, do you?
Last year we got a good bit. I mean, it was probably 6 inches. Yeah, oh yeah. And I went out trying to track deer in the snow, and I'll tell you, our deer down here in the south don't move much the first couple of days. Like there were not a lot of tracks to follow.
Of the snow, yeah.
No, they just don't move. Like it's different. Like it doesn't affect deer. It's like north of the Mason-Dixon, like the deer or like used to, it could snow, it can windy, it can do all that stuff, and your deer still do what they do. I think from what I've seen, our deer just, man, they shut down weather like that. Rain doesn't bother them, and the heat doesn't really bother them, which it does your deer, which is weird because like deer up north, when it gets hot, like after they have their winter coat, y'all's deer shut down. It seems like if it gets above 55, like if it's above 55, your deer movement slows down here. I mean, it can be in the 80s with their winter coat, and you can still see a lot of deer.
Here in Southern Indiana, I'd probably bump that up a little bit. At 55 is still pretty cool down here. Or pretty
bump
normal
it up
in November. Yeah.
So you're saying, okay, well, it's weird because the only thing I've got is to go off of is where I hunted in Illinois, which is almost straight across from you. I guess latitude.
Oh, I mean, a couple years ago in November, it was 83 one day in November here.
Last year it was. You remember last year was hot as heck.
Yeah, it gets hot here in November.
It was hot because the rut was terrible in Illinois last year. But the deer there they seem like they just, if it doesn't, and the other guys that were there told me the same thing. Indiana might be different a little bit because you're kind of a little west maybe, and it's like weird because like
I'd say 55 is about the average temperature in November here, 50 to 55.
Is it? Yeah, it's probably the average temperature in Illinois too, but where I hunted in Illinois, which is about central, it's kind of north-south Illinois, but the deer just didn't seem to move as much as they did when you got a nice cool front. Yeah. But it's weird, like over in like South Carolina, like their deer start coming out of velvet in August. Like a lot of them are out of velvet in the middle and into August, and our deer don't come out of velvet till September. It's strange.
57 was the average temperature in Brownstown, Indiana last November.
Really? That's not too
I was almost dead on.
Yeah.
No, but
do you notice though if it creeps above like 60 that the deer movement shuts down?
I would say 70.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For here, I don't know.
Okay.
Now if it gets in the 80s like it has before, and it seems like it just dead.
Man, it seems just dead.
I mean, even in the 60s, though, that's just a few degrees above what our average is. So,
do you think that drought we had last year?
Maybe.
Did you notice any movement in the deer slowing down last year with that drought?
Man, I didn't get to hunt a lot in November here in Indiana.
Yeah, you were in Kentucky or Kansas, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I killed my buck on the 7th of October last year, so I just didn't hunt any after that here in Indiana.
Right.
So, I'd be lying to you if I said anything. I was raising an infant at that time.
Yep, I remember last year was a tough year.
Are
y'all gonna be able to take your trailer when you go to Iowa? Are you gonna take the family, or are you just going by yourself?
I'll probably just go by myself out there. There ain't much for the family to do in Iowa. But yeah, I don't know what I'll do yet. I haven't decided yet. Maybe a drag that thing out there. Yeah.
I can't wait to load my little cabin.
Oh, I know.
I'm so excited about that, man. I'll have to like do some video and give it to you so you can share it. We can show everybody what I got. It's pretty daggum cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I can't wait to drive that thing around.
Yeah, does it? Well, you got that diesel, so it doesn't really matter with your gas mileage at all.
No, it doesn't really hurt it too much. I need to get like a thing that goes in front of it that deflects the wind up over it so it doesn't catch it. And I'll probably get 16, 17 miles a gallon.
Did you replace your solar panel that you lost?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can replace that. Yeah, I had a solar panel fly off on the way back to Missouri turkey hunting. I do not know where it is.
Yeah.
It flew off somewhere. So, I don't know. What's crazy is I used VHB tape. I don't know if I'm sure James knows what it is because he knows everything. But I used VHB tape on it, and the one I used on one of them, and the other one I bolted. The bolted one actually pulled the rack off, and everything flew. The VHB tape did great. Yeah, I mean, it didn't even budge. I couldn't hardly pull it off, but like an idiot, I pulled that one off for some reason, and then I ended up putting it right back on. I used VHB tape and then a Turner bond on top of it, so I don't think it's going anywhere now. but I have less solar now than I did. I had a lot of solar before.
Yeah.
It's probably is in Oz. Probably flew off and just there's some flying monkey or something running around with it.
Oh man.
Shiny.
Anyway, you ready to hop off here now?
Yeah, man. Good talk. Have fun.
Yeah, it was good. Everybody keep
We need to do
trucking
this.
along.
Yep.
I don't know. Next this week I am going up to visit Dave from Razor Broadhead, so we'll probably just do a podcast with him this week, later in the week. I don't know if it'll be Thursday or not, just depending on what we got going on. So
You going this week as in
like Wednesday
after
we're
long
leaving.
Wednesday? Yeah, we'll have fun.
Um,
Yeah, I need to get those broadheads from him. I need to get the those Razor broadheads that we talked about.
Yeah.
I need to get a lot of stuff for my bow. I think I'll be able to do it next month. I've been on a mission to get all my bills paid off, and I'm almost there. So once all that stuff paid
Are you
off,
talking about for your recurve bow?
yeah, got credit card paid off, boat's gone, and paid off my truck with my boat money. So my goal is to be debt free and hunt for life. Just hunt.
There you go. Sound like a good
Yeah.
plan to me.
Yeah, man. Staying on the corners. If I need money, I'll go bartend for a day.
There you go. Go bounce somewhere.
Yeah, van life.
Van life.
Yeah, van life.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See y'all.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.